Hi and welcome back to my little corner of the internet. Today we are modifying a pattern, and the pattern we're modifying is for this vest. So I made this one. It fits and sits all nicely. It's smooth and lovely around the buttons, as you can see. But then I made this one, and I somehow didn't get the buttons to sit just right, so it's kind of wobbly at the front. As you can see, and that gave me an idea. What if I did this intentionally? What if I modified the pattern so it was meant to be like that, but a little bit bigger? You know, like in Danish we call it a krøs. I have no idea what you call it in English, but that roughly bit you have on top of your shirts, maybe you can do that on a vest as well, like an historical interpretation of a look. That's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to be using these pattern pieces, and I'm going to be, I think, maybe making it a little bit longer, but still measuring out all of the buttonholes so the buttons would sit where they were meant to without the modifications. So first I'm tracing off the pattern piece. Hallelujah for candlesticks. Just tracing all the way around. Then I'm measuring out where all the buttons are, because I'm going to be using those marks as a guideline. Because I'm going to be cutting up all these lines and then pulling them apart with the same distance, or almost same distance, all the way up to the top. And this is how I'm going to get that more roughly bit at center front as I'm looking for, in theory. So I'm just measuring out, putting on a little piece of tape, and doing that all the way to the top. And I'm making the pattern piece a little bigger at the top, because I want the ruffles to be the largest at the neckline. Now I'm just making the pattern more even. Finding where the center front is and where the buttons are going to go. Making a little line. So center front is still the same place as it would be if I didn't modify the pattern. So this is where all the buttons are going to sit when it's all sewn and the seam allowance is taken away and all that. In Danish we call it overlap, because they overlap each other. And here I'm tracing off where I want the buttons to be, still using my guidelines that I made before. I made little, as you can see, I made little marks all the way down, so I know where the buttons are going to sit, would sit originally. Wow, that's a weird word. And here I'm contemplating, because on the original pattern piece there is, you know, like a lining and like an interface thing, I think that's what you call it. And I'm thinking that maybe I should do the same thing with this. But it's kind of, is it going to sit right, and how is it going to, and is it... So I ended up not doing that. And I'm just going to be making two pieces, one for the outside and one for the inside, instead of trying to do all the facing and lining and all of that stuff. Here are the pieces I'll cut out. The original pattern piece and the new one that I just made two of for the inside and the outside. that's going to be laid on top of the other. And hopefully it will all fit together. Here all the pattern pieces are ready to be sewn together. And here you can see kind of what I'm doing, because I made the other piece bigger. And I'm just fingers crossed that it's all going to fit together. I ended up making the collar a little bit longer to make it fit. I had to put this on and take it off like 3 times, so I thought, well, let's just make it a little bit too long so it fits, and it did. So, and here I'm finding where all the buttons are going to sit, just marking them off with a pin to see if my idea works, and turned out it did, but it took a couple of tries to get the ruffles to sit just right, because they have to fit onto a smaller part, the other side of the vest. Here I'm finding where all the buttonholes are going to sit. Give it a little try again with putting them all together, this time where I want them to be. All the way to the top. And you know what? It kind of works. Yeah. At this point I'm just trusting the process and hoping that my tailoring skills will help me through this. I made all the buttonholes. Here I'm opening them very carefully without ruining anything. Let's put in some buttons. I had these lovely little white buttons that fitted it just right. And here I'm trying it on my dress form. Again, to see if this experiment is working. And you know what? It kind of looks like it. There's going to be some adjustments with these wannabe ruffle bits. But yeah. It worked. So I'm going to be laying down these ruffles so they are going to be pointing downward and tagging them on with the pin at first, and then I'm going to be sewing all that by hand because it's going to be too loose or too big on that side if I don't kind of hold them together. Pins all in. Give that all a little stitch. The arms I ended up being a little smaller on this side than on the other side, but I kind of think I'm the only one who noticed. Here it is on, with a lovely big t-shirt underneath. Just imagine some lovely Edwardian Victorian big sleeved shirt underneath this. But look, it worked! My idea worked! Yeah! I'm kind of impressed even myself, to be honest. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. And I'm going to be taking some time off, so I'll be back in September, because I'm going to a festival, and I'm going to a Bruce Springsteen concert, and then I'm going to, I don't really have time to make stuff, so I'm going to be back in September. Hope to see you there. Bye. Oh, and look, Tulle. Isn't she lovely? Bye.